We are having a bit of a fun one today. Paul Dillett versus Quint Beastwood, Quint and Uriah. And obviously, we're not taking this as serious as, say, Derek Lunsford versus Nick Walker. Two guys that will be competing against each other and that have competed against each other. These guys will never compete. Paul Dillett, he was a 1990s bodybuilder. Quint Beastwood, Quint and Uriah, he's your Tampa Pro champion from last night? Well, that's what I thought. That's what I thought it was gonna be, but this is a second place at the Tampa. Of course, placing second to Jordan Hutchinson. So congratulations to Jordan. But this one here, I mean, two of the tallest bodybuilders ever that have potential to win the big one, to win the Mr. Olympia championships. Of course, there's been Ralph Moeller, guys like that. I don't know if it was ever in the equation. But these two guys, absolutely. Wow, look at those arms on Paul. And look at his physique itself, the abs. Now, Quint, he's maybe even a little bit better in the lats, in the overall size of the physique, the width of the clavicle, which is unbelievable when you think about it. But I would suggest that Paul has the edge in the arms and in the abs. But then you look at the wheels, the legs. I don't know if Paul is putting all of his, emphasis, oomph, if you will, into flexing those quads at this point in time, but obviously you can see Quint winning in the wheel department as far as separation. So it is a tough one if you're actually going to take this serious. Most Paul Dillett fans are going to suggest that the arms are enough, whereas modern day fans are going to suggest that the conditioning of Quint Beastwood would be too much for the 90s bodybuilder. Now, the front lat spread, this was a tough one. The picture of Paul Dillett, it is tilted, and the camera looks like it's down on the ground. It's difficult to say. But judging from other footage that I've seen of Paul, he had a very difficult time hitting this. He has the goods. You can see that. He has the muscle. He just was a little unsymmetrical, and in terms of the shaking, obviously we're not really discussing this in a picture comparison, but it was very apparent in the front lat spread. You can see, I do appreciate, you can see him holding his quads together, like Ronnie Coleman did. Not many guys were willing to do that. Exposes the sometimes lack of size of the quads. Paul had incredible quads. Now, Quint Beastwood, he's holding his arms up a little bit, maybe too high, some would suggest. I don't know. Paul's holding his down too low. So, you gotta find the fine point. But my ultimate decision in this is, well, I think it's obvious. Quint Beastwood wins the front lat spread. Now go to the side. Sizing, a little bit difficult. Quint holds his, he's bending at the wheels, first of all, and he holds his upper body a little bit different. You have to take all that into consideration. Now, which one do I prefer? I do like the way Paul Dillett is striking the pose. He has his far leg straight, which I do appreciate. And I get it. They all bend their legs. What Quint Beastwood is doing, that's actually, compared to nowadays guys, that's a pretty straight-legged for the back leg. But having said that, once again, I'm going to say I do prefer Paul, but the chest does definitely appear to be a little bit bigger for Quint Beastwood. So having said that, it is a side chest, and we do focus on that chest a little bit more than usual, perhaps. Now the side tricep. This is, with all due respect to Paul, almost a little bit laughable. Obviously, I appreciate the way he's holding his far leg straight. Love that. Exposes the calf, the far leg calf. Both of these guys have incredible calves. I didn't even mention that, which is probably rare for very tall guys. Usually the thicker, shorter, stouter bodybuilders with the big calves, Hunter Labradas, things of that nature, Phil Heath. But aside from that, guys, look at Paul, the way he's displayed. He's trying to make himself look narrow, which is a mistake. He should open up. Now, if he did open up a bit, he would be unbeatable in the side triceps. And more than that, for this comparison, these guys would resemble each other in the physique more so. I mean, look at the quad development. Physiques like this, big, tall, huge quads, small little waistlines, big full arms, they just do not grow on trees. Now here's the back double bi. And this is what really interests me. These guys are carbon copies of each other. Obviously, the career has came and gone for Paul Dillett. And everybody on the internet suggests that this guy was wasted potential. He could have been Mr. Olympia. He should have opened up that back development a little bit more. And if you remember, Quint Beastwood, the start of his career, his back double bi resembled Paul Dillett's a little bit more than it does now. So I think they had the same type of makeup in terms of their back, lat insertions, glutes. I mean, Paul Dillett for the 90s. This was pretty conditioned glutes and hamstrings. Not bad at all. So from the front double, throughout the side shots, aside from the way they were hitting their poses differently, these guys are very similar. And here is the abs and thigh. Now, if you should so happen to have closed captions on and have me muted, this is abs and thigh, not absent thigh. Because sometimes the closed captions, when I say lat insertions, it says Latin surgeon, like a Latin surgeon. But having said that, look at the abs on Paul. And look at the abs on Quint Beastwood. Paul crouching down a little bit more, which I appreciate. Creates more thickness, more separation in the abs, more bubbly round abs. And Quint, I mean, he's got a pretty good abs and thigh too. It's just a shame they're not hitting the pose the same way. And the most muscular as well. Now to me, this was more of a fun one when they were hitting the poses at the same, the same spec, the same exact same way. Because these guys have very similar physiques. They're both about the same height. They both have incredible small waistlines, chiseled abs. I said Paul was winning in the abs in the front double. I'm sure Quint was sitting there thinking, my abs look just as good. And they did. I had to go look back at that. So they both have ginormous quads, huge quads, strided glutes. They have the whole package. They even have great big calves. A rarity with tiny waisted bodybuilders. Think about it. Most of the guys with big giant calves have thicker midsections as well. But not these two guys. And one more very important feature of Paul Dillett and Quint Beastwood. They're both Canadian. They are two big Canadian bucks. And they are, some of the best Canadian bodybuilders of all time. Maybe two of the very best Canadian bodybuilders of all time. You got your Ian Valliers. You can't leave Chris Bumstead out of the equation. Anyway, let me know, who is the greatest Canadian bodybuilder of all time? Joe Weider? Well, he was Canadian. Hit thumbs up on the video. Get it up to 300 likes. This was a poll-winning video, so 300 likes will do the rest of the requests. Have a nice one, folks.